How's it going, guys? Welcome back to another video. So it's finally time for me to review the Samsung Galaxy S4, and I got this after I reviewed the Galaxy S5. Now to my surprise, there's actually a huge difference between these two phones, and I didn't expect that, but we're gonna take this slowly. So since it's gonna be a big video, I assume I will leave timestamps in the description so you can go ahead and check those out. Sorry for the background noise. Link will be in the description if you also want to buy this phone. So let me go ahead and run you over the specs. So this has a 5-inch 1080p Super AMOLED display at the front with Corning Gorilla Glass 3, and it's got 441 ppi, so that's quite sharp for a 5-inch 1080p display and stuff. Get onto the display in a bit. It's running a Snapdragon 600 quad-core processor. I forgot the gigahertz, I mean the frequency, but I think it's 1.9 or 1.6 gigahertz. It's got 2 gigs of RAM. It's got a 13 megapixel rear-facing camera, along with the flash at the front. It's got 2 megapixel camera, just standard from 2014 and stuff. It's got a 2600 milliamp hour battery, so a little bit smaller than the Galaxy S5, but it's good enough for, I mean, it's what you expect from these phones. And also this is the GT-I9505. so there's the other model which is the i9500, and there's slightly different. I think it's the processor that's different, but I'm not really sure. I didn't get into focusing on that because it doesn't really matter much. So this is the i9505. So I'm going to start by taking a look around the phone. So on the front you got a 5-inch display. Now compared to the Galaxy S5, the layout over here is a bit different. You hold the middle button down for the up drawer instead of pressing that button, and this one is instead for the menu. So if you're in the up or something, press that, the menu comes up, and this is the back button just like on the S5. Now on the top you got your front facing camera, your light sensor and stuff, and you also got your earpiece, all the goody stuff that you get from your typical flagship phone. On the left side you got the volume rocker, that's all. This is a bit of a used one. On the right side you've got your power button, same as the S5. On top you've got your, I think that's the IR doodle, and that's the headphone jack. On the bottom you got the micro USB for charging, and also OTG as your main microphone. Now on the back you got your rear facing camera along with the flash. You got the Samsung logo and the mono rear facing speaker. So if you go ahead and open up the back, which you can on these phones, you find that there's the micro SIM card slot. So this is not the nano, so not the newest, but the middle size, not the big one. And then there's the micro SD card slot. Don't know about that. And there's of course your battery over here, which is removable, and it also has NFC. I think it's either inside the battery or just something, I don't know where it is really, because on the BlackBerry phones, on the BlackBerry Q10, is on the back cover. So if you lose the back cover, you can't use the NFC. But the good thing about that is that if you lose the battery, or if the battery dies out, then you can still use the NFC and you get a new battery instead. So let me go over the design over here. So compared to the S5, it has a less body to screen ratio. That means there's less bezels, and you can definitely see that it is a bit better than the S5, but I've actually come to realize that it doesn't really matter much at the end, to be honest with you. Now it's a bit more curved compared to the S5, and I thought I would like that, but I don't. It's actually I prefer a much more squarey design now, and this is the big problem with this phone. You see, the design is not good. At the back over here you've got this one, probably the world's ugliest design that you'll ever find. I'll just go ahead and zoom in and show you if I can. So hopefully that's coming out good. I mean, you can see my reflection in the kind of, but basically if you look closely, there's just tiny dots lined up in a grid. And I don't know if this is the same with the white version. This is the black one, obviously. And I'm not a fan of this design. This is the ugliest design I've ever seen. It's hideous. Not only that, it's a bit of a fingerprint magnet, as you can see. Well, actually it's a huge fingerprint magnet, but it doesn't feel nice as well. I mean, there's just this grid that they've come up with is just stupid. I don't know whose idea it was, but this has got to be the ugliest design I've ever seen, and I cannot stress that enough. I'm just not going to go too bold on this. I'm just going to stop. But the design I'm not a fan of. Now let's talk about the display. Now compared to the S5, it's pretty much exactly the same. The only difference is that the colors are a bit different. On the S5 it's a bit more warmer. If you put it side by side, of course you're not going to realize that, and this screen is a bit more bluish, so it's got a bit of a blue tint. The viewing angles are amazing. You can see that you can pretty much read everything. And that's in technically it's a bad thing, but it's a good thing because you all want to show off with the displays, but everybody can read on your screen if they're looking from the side. Something to keep in mind. But just like the S5, this is a Super AMOLED display. The colors are amazing, the contrast and everything in that regard is just amazing. And also the black levels, well, it basically just turns itself off. So in the night, if you're watching movies or something, watching porn or whatever, the black bars around the videos, they're gonna be invisible. It's like you're watching a floating display. So it's really good. Alright, now I'm gonna brag about it again on this phone as well as the S5. I don't know what it is, but look at this. I don't think they can improve this because it's just Android. Well, they can, but they just never do. The Samsung keyboard that comes with this is just a complete joke. I mean, it's really bad. So I get this one, and the problem with this one is this is the shortest length, I think is, and look how high it is. It's just right up there. Look at the amount of space that it gives. So definitely for work it's not good. When you're texting and everything, it's gonna be that tiny. So you got your text writing area over there, but you're looking at the other message, that's just gonna be that tiny over there. But and it's worse if you turn it a landscape. So look at that, it's a complete joke. But this is a custom keyboard, and I do like it because if since you can customize it, you've got all these other things. So you go up and down arrows as well to move along with the text, but they don't really work very well because I don't like them. Well, they just don't work, to be honest with you. And you've also got that. But typing and swipe typing, I mean, obviously I can't blame you on the phone or anything, but it's not great, I mean. I don't know what it is. It's just sometimes it just doesn't work properly. So I haven't been using it. So that's why I just haven't been using it. I don't really like it. I have a feeling this is going to be a quick video because it's not been a great experience with this phone. And you'll see why and stuff. So let's just move on to the camera. And now I was surprised that the camera was this bad. Just go ahead and just zoom in over here. Just get it set up so you can see it properly and stuff like that. Alright, hopefully that's coming out a bit better on the display or whatever you're watching on. But do you see the camera is, the app is pretty much exactly the same. You've got this thingy nobody cares about, it's just flipping toy, and you've got your modes and your videos and everything. And I mean, it does have a few options. Really it's good that it has options. You even got some options of a video, and you also got this nonsense stuff. It's a typical crap camera because here's the thing, here's what I find funny about these reviewers that keep saying the cameras on these phones are good. No, they're not. This camera is garbage, and pretty much every phone I've tested has a garbage camera, okay? I don't know what is with reviews. They either have very low expectations or they're just completely retarded. And yes, I'm calling out Austin Evans and MKBHD and stuff. These cameras are not great. I mean, I've taken a few pictures here and there of the trash that's lying around my house, so I'll just show you the detail and stuff in this. But this to take a picture like this, I took a few pictures at once and then I picked the best one. Alright, so you got some trash around here, I'll show you it. But to be honest with you, I wasn't really impressed with what the camera does. So I think this is without HDR. I'll just go ahead and turn the lights down a bit. I mean, turn them off so you can probably see this a bit better. But this is without HDR. This is with HDR, so you can see that it brings out the shadows a bit more, so it looks a bit better. This I think is without HDR. This is with HDR, so you can see that it brings back the highlights a bit. But the detail is okay. If you can get a picture right, it's okay. It's nowhere near as good as usable for, I don't know, a commercial or something. That is not even an option when it comes to phones like this and cameras and stuff. I'm gonna show you the detail on here. So this is with HDR, so detail wise, if you can get a good picture, it will look fine. I'm not saying it's gonna be looking bad and stuff, but it's compared to the S5, this is like nothing compared to the S5. The sensor on this is so crap and stuff. It's a lot more noisy and everything, so I definitely see why they improved the S5 with the new sensor that they got. Now what I'm going to complain about here is the low light performance. Now the S5 does a decent job, well, since it's a phone, considering it's a phone, it actually does a very good job. And detail wise and everything, this thing sucks. Now I'll actually say it once right now, it's worse than the BlackBerry Passports. Now, because every time I take a picture it's blurry, because it just lowers the shutter speed, so it takes longer to expose for the light and stuff, and that is just really bad. I don't like it. Now that being said, for using it as a camera for multimedia and social media, as in making YouTube videos, that's gonna be okay, I'd say, but you're better off getting into a lit environment where you get better results. For Instagram and stuff, this will just do fine. But I'm not, to be honest with you, I wasn't really impressed with the camera. That's just what I meant to say. Now we're gonna test out some video playback test, and you'll be surprised how bad this is. And this is gonna give you a clear, I'd say a clear view of how bad it is. I mean, I don't want to say it's a bad phone, because it's a really cheap phone now. It's just under £100, but for still for that price, it's actually not good. I don't know where I put it. Here is big book money. Right, here we go. So I did this with the S5, and I'll do this with all the phones now. So you got the 4K test at 1080p, 30, 60 and 480p. Let's go ahead and run over with that, and you'll probably get a sound test out of it. The speaker is just as good as the S5. It's not the best, it's not great in anything. Problem is, it's at the back, so that's actually the problem. The rest is okay, I'm fine with it, but it's at the back. It's mono, but it does sound rich and clear and everything, so I'll give them that, but it's at the back and it can get annoying. So let's just go ahead and run with the 480p test. So 480p, obviously, as expected, it runs perfectly fine. So this is where it gets interesting. 1080p 30, because I don't have a 720p file apparently. That's much louder. So this is a problem, since it's a rear facing speaker. Oh look, no text. Since it's a rear facing speaker, it's not good, because everybody else is going to be annoyed. But 1080p 30 works fine, so that's good. But here's the thing, 1080p 30, I seem to be having a bit of a problem with it. I don't know what it is, but as you can see, it's not running very well. It's supposed to be much more smoother than this. I'm pretty sure about that. So you can see the sound is out of sync. Put the volume up a bit. So it definitely has improved. I think it's might as well just use a hardware decoder to see if that makes a difference. Well, it's worse than the other one, so that's not good. So 1080p 60 is as much as it's gonna go, nothing above that. I was surprised, compared to the S5, there's barely a difference in the processing speed and stuff, but it does just, it just doesn't do it. So what I'm gonna show you now, I mean, I'm not gonna show you, I'm just gonna talk about the performance, and that's to do with the video playback. That was just an example of how good it can get. Now gaming, I was actually disappointed. I've been playing these few games. I'll turn it portrait again, show you it. So Merge Dragons is I think it's one of the new games. I think I'm not sure. It runs okay. Train Station runs okay. Bouncy runs like shit on every phone that I've played on. Like completely, because it has a lot of particles. It's basically like a Tetris where you shoot, and it has so much particles that it just starts lagging on every phone I've gone. So I'd say on the S5 it was much better. So definitely on this phone is a huge downgrade. Earn to Die 2 works perfectly fine. That works perfectly fine. That works okay. It just stores here and there, but I think overall it works fine. Car Factory lags very bad. Final Fantasy lags here and there, and it is playable, but I don't recommend it. Build Away is very laggy as well. So overall, I think the performance of this phone is disappointing. I'm actually disappointed with the performance of this phone. I didn't expect it to be as bad as it is, and I'm not trying to say that it's a bad phone. I know a lot of people say it's a good phone and stuff, but it's actually not. I'm not joking. For entertainment and stuff, I think you should get a better phone. I think it's the processor. It just can't handle the up today's software and stuff. Maybe it's just Android and stuff. I mean, I don't know what to say. It's just it doesn't seem to be handling and stuff. It's a bit sluggish. The operating system, when I'm maybe when the keyboard comes up, it actually takes a good few seconds for it to come up for some retarded reason. It's a bit sluggish when I'm opening up, or when I'm just going on to this app drawer. It starts messing about and stuff. So overall, the performance, I'm actually not impressed with it. I didn't expect it to be this bad, but for a phone that cost just under 100, I'd say you're better off getting the S5 at least. I don't recommend this now. After I've used it, I thought it was going to be good, but it's not. It's not really a good phone. Now, to end this video, like I said, I'm not going to do some gaming on it because the video playback was kind of the performance test. So to end this video, let me talk about the battery life. Now, I've been using this without the battery saving mode on, and it does, look at that. When I started this review, it was about on 50 or something. It's gone down to 26 and stuff, 27. But the battery is a bit better than the S5, considering you don't have to use the battery saving mode to get the same results as this phone. But it's still really shit battery. You have to charge it every day at least once, and if you use it really heavily, probably 2 to 3 times in one day, you're gonna have to charge this battery a lot. And what I find funny is, since when it gets hot, it starts draining the battery a lot quicker, and then when you put it in your pocket and you look by it, it's gone up by a few percent for some reason. I don't know what it is. I think it's the battery is probably too old now or something, but it definitely is a problem. I'm not going to say it's not a problem, because it still is a problem. The battery I'm not impressed with, but I definitely say if you're just going to do multimedia and social media and stuff, you can definitely get away with it. I've been using these apps, they're running in the background constantly, and so that might have an effect on that. I mean, it probably does have a huge effect on the battery life. So I've got all these apps running. So if you do this kind of stuff, this is a good example. They all run perfectly fine and everything, so there's nothing to worry about that. Obviously, since it's an Android phone. But the battery life, I'm not impressed. But I will say, without using the battery saving mode on, it gets as good as the S5 with the battery saving mode. So that's a huge improvement right there. But if you want to use the battery saving mode, the power saving, it doesn't get much better. I mean, that's the only thing the power saving mode does, is makes the performance even worse. It's already bad enough, it makes it even worse. So for gaming and stuff, this is not recommended. For multimedia, I mean, video playback and stuff, if you're going to do YouTube, yeah, it's fine, whatever, but it's not recommended. Get a bigger screen for that kind of thing. But for doing social media and using it as a normal phone, that's okay. For work, I recommend getting a BlackBerry 10 phone. Android, it shouldn't even be an option in that. BlackBerry 10 just crushes this. Well, it's made for work, so I kind of get it. But yeah, battery life is not great, but it's a typical Android battery life. So I'll leave it here. If you have any questions about this phone, let me know in the comment section below. I will answer the questions, and because I'm always active. Thank you guys for watching, and I will see you again in another video.